Namaste and welcome to Treya Child Development Solutions. Today, for our Ask Your Expert series, we have with us our guest speaker, Ms. Shilpa Srivastava. Ms. Shilpa is a registered occupational therapist in Ayota who completed her degree from National Institute of Locomotor Disability. She is also certified in sensory integration through University of Southern California. She has a vast experience working in and outside the country with children having developmental needs. We welcome you, Shilpa.
Thank you, Harika.
So we would like to know, your journey till date in the field of occupational therapy. Please share your experience.
Okay, so yeah, sure. So I graduated in 2012. And after that, since then, I've been practicing as an occupational therapist. I've been to many places, like worked in many places. I started my career from Gurgaon. I worked in a child development clinic. And then for a year only, I worked there. Then I moved to a place which was closer to my hometown, that is Varanasi. So I was working there in an autism center. It was like a school, and inside that there was an autism center. So definitely I learned a lot from my colleagues over there. And then I had few dreams of working outside the country. So I applied in one of the organizations in Singapore, and I got the opportunity to work there for around 2.5 years again. So again, that was a different culture, different approach. So again, I learned a lot. And finally, in 2018, I came back. I came here in Bangalore. I'm settled over here right now. And I've been giving services in my own private setup. So it's like that. And I'm pretty blessed to be an occupational therapist because I think it's my passion.
That's lovely to hear from you. So, okay, for a parent of a typically developing child or any child, how do you explain about sensory integration? How can they understand what is sensory integration?
Okay, so sensory integration or sensory processing, it's a term which a typically developing child or a parent with a typically developing child will not come across with, because everything is happening. So we don't think about sensory processing. We only think about sensory processing when there's something wrong. So it plays a very important role in the development. So if I have a child and what will my goals be for that child? I will think that the child should be academically good. The child should be able to concentrate well. He should have good self-esteem, self-control, organization skills, everything. So all these things, if a child doesn't have appropriate sensory processing ability, he will not be able to do. So it is so important. Yes, definitely, it's not always the sensory processing. There are other factors also which contribute to the end product. But a child who is like intellectually very good, cognitively very smart, if that child has difficulty in processing the sensory information, that child will not be able to give those end product. So like, if you want me to explain something more than that, I would just like in simple terms, I will explain, like apart from the 5 senses that we have, which we all learn, we have 2 more senses. One is proprioception and the other is vestibular. So you're a speech therapist, you know vestibular, of course, because it's there in the ear. So it actually detects movement. Vestibular means movement. So this sensory system detects movement, whether we are going forward, we are going in a linear motion, we are going circular motion, whatever. It locates gravity. So that is vestibular. And the other one is proprioception. So proprioception is joint sensation. So joint sensation is like, even if I'm bending my elbow and I'm looking somewhere else, I know that my elbow is bent. So these 2 senses are again very important part of the sensory system. And of course, there's one interoception, which we don't go into that much. But these 7 systems are very important. And for us as OTs, 3 systems, which is tactile is touch, vestibular, and this one, proprioception. This is very important. It is a foundation part. On that, we build on everything, like everything, you can say. Even the speech part, the body coordination, academic learning, whatever, everything is dependent on that. And these systems start developing like when the child is in the womb itself. So it keeps developing, and then if the processing is happening proper, like the stimulus goes through the body to a small part in the brain, if the integration or processing happens appropriately, we get an end result. And if it doesn't, then we don't get it. If you want, do you want an example, or just talking?
Yes.
Okay, so I like to give one example. I usually give this to the parents. It's basically climbing the staircase. So for us, for a typically developing child, 4-year, 5-year child, it is an easy task. But if you understand, since I was talking about 3 sensory systems like proprioceptive, vestibular, and tactile, very important senses, I'm going to elaborate on these 3 only. So while, for example, if I'm climbing the staircase, or climbing up or climbing down the staircase, so these sensory systems plays a role. For example, when I'm climbing up, I'm going to hold on the rail. The amount of pressure I'm going to use, my joints are going to use to hold it, that is a factor. The touch part is there while I'm holding the rail. I'm walking up against the gravity, or I'm walking towards the gravity. The vestibular is working. So all these 3 systems are working. But if imagine if I have like a messy vestibular system, my vestibular system is not working so well, and I have to walk up the staircase. So I'm working against the gravity. So then what happens, like I cannot really process how much I need to go up. I'm getting scared. And unfortunately, my proprioception is also not working. So I'm going to grab hold of the rails present next to me. My muscles will become tensed. There will be a lot of tension in my muscles. And then only I will walk up, if at all it is very necessary. Otherwise, I'll choose not to do. So that is which happens in children. Like if anything, so this is a very simple example that I've given. And it's an example of gravitational insecurity that few children have, unfortunately. But there are many other things which children go through. And then we say that children are behaving naughty, they don't want to do it, but actually they cannot do it. So they project in a way that I don't want to do it. So for example, if I really need to climb up, then only I will go, like tensing my body, holding on to the rail, I'll just go up. But if it is not needed, I will not go. So that is all. It is very important. Sensory processing, sensory integration, whatever you call it, it is very important. It is not noticeable in a typically developing child, because we just like think that it's gonna happen. It is happening. But when a child is having difficulty, trouble in sitting properly, or difficulty in attending to something, then there we actually think about it.
Yes, I think I very much agree with whatever you said, because even I had my journey till date in speech therapy, and earlier, because I was not aware of the sensory processing and, like you said, vestibular and proprioception. So I used to think, okay, child is not not doing it because he doesn't want to. But over the time, when I started working with our occupational therapist, then I understood that there are a lot of things that the child has to master in order to perform in speech. So I think now the example you have given me, sheds light on.
Yes, one more example I would like to give, like something that's a myth. I feel sometimes it should not be done. Sometimes people, like parents even, they try to make the child look into their eyes. But I would always suggest, like, come on, let's bounce the child on the ball. Because vestibular system and visual system actually work so together. It doesn't happen. Like, it will be difficult for the child to look into your eyes as such. But if the child is bouncing on the ball, we get good eye contact then. So I think we should actually propagate about that also in many areas.
Yeah, that's a very good point. There's a lot of conflict and conversations that are going on about eye contact. I think what you said, is a big eye opener. So, like now, because we are all in the pandemic, and we were forced, I would say, to move to online from in
Yes, yes,
services.
yes,
How was
right.
your experience? What was the change you felt from providing in person and online, and how effective it
Hmm.
is?
Okay. So, yes, of course, because of lockdown only, I moved to online sessions. So, what I feel, what my experience has been, it is actually effective to a certain group of parents only, not to all, but a certain group of parents. So basically, since I'm working more with early intervention, like around 6 to 8 years old from the beginning, so I like to teach the parents rather than child himself, because there are only very few children who will sit in front of the screen to do the activities, and also it's not always the sitting activities that OT wants to do with the child. So I've been doing like that itself. I've been training the parents, giving them the activities, telling them why am I doing it, and the parents will do it, take a video, give me the feedback. So what are the good parts of it? I will say, firstly, I get the help from the parents a lot, because if the parent is working, there's one creative part and the OT part of me, and there's one creative part and the therapist part of the parent as well. So when two people are working together, we get good results. Actually, I've seen, like, no, something magical also happening during the sessions, but only for the parents who are working. So this one thing is very important. When parents are working, I get that response. Second is, basically, I feel parents like to, no, let me put it this way. If I take the video feedback, I get to know more what the child is doing, how the child is participating, and I can build on. One-on-one session, it is not possible, because it's my way of doing. I'll do the session, but online, I think that's one positive thing I feel, because I get the feedback, and it is a feedback for me also, because I understand, okay, I should not do this way. Maybe I didn't tell the parent also, but I get an opportunity to tell the parents afterwards. So these two things, I think, is very good of the online session. But the drawback is the parent should get some time to work with the child, especially if the parent is a like a new one who gets to know about the child. There's something difficulty with him. So for them, it is really difficult to start with an online session, because they have to be in the session and know a little bit about it, how we basically manage, how our approach is. It will be easier for them. And then also, if there are definitely lots of household chores also, so sometimes parents are unable to do the activities, and then I really cannot help in that ways. So it's basically parent directed. I act as a guide. So it has been like a mixed experience for me. So few parents who are doing good, I have seen good response, and few parents who are not able to give so much of time due to some reasons. uh, I really cannot help them in that area. So that is all that has been with me.
Yeah. So even I believe, parent is the first champion in a child's life, right? So training them, because be it in person or be it online, we
Hmm.
spend only like minimal time with the child. Though we take one-on-one, we spend minimal time. Rest of the time, the child is with the parent, I guess.
With
So,
the parents, exactly.
and
Hmm.
if we empower them by training, I think it is going to benefit the child to the maximum extent possible. So,
Yes,
so it's nice to hear.
actually.
Yes, please.
No, I just wanted to add, I really feel that it's a luxury for the parents to just sit at home and learn from the therapist. Although when they are there with me, I'm training them then also. But like sitting at home, if I'm giving them the activities and they are sharing the feedback, it's a luxury for them also. But yes, sometimes it doesn't work. It's fine.
Yeah, so that's what we call it, right at the comfort of your home. Yeah.
Yes.
So it's so nice to hear from you, Shilpa, about,
Thank
sensory
you, Harika.
integration and, your experience providing occupational therapy services through online. So hope to have a couple of more, interactive sessions like this. Thank you for your time.
Sure.